Hi, everyone, and welcome to Book Club with Bay. I am Bay, and this is Bay. Say hi, Bay.
Hi, Bay.
And this is other Bay. Say hi.
Hi.
And today we're talking about magic study. This is the second full book in the Chronicles of Ixia series, which we haven't talked about in a second.
Mm-hmm.
Life got a little crazy there. So I think, we'll do ratings first. We'll do that first. But I think after we do that, we should maybe like recap characters.
Yeah.
Yes.
Recap what happened like once we last met or whatever. And all that fun junk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who's going to read first?
Cassie's gonna rate first.
Yeah.
She said that she can't read, so it was really bad. There.
Well, I would rate. Ooh, I actually don't. I don't know what food I would give it. I enjoyed it. I
was whelmed.
I don't know why, but I just really love this series.
I was also whelmed. I don't know what it is about like the writing style that like.
I will say it's probably one of the most different series that I've read and enjoyed compared to my other series that I usually read and enjoy. Like, because again, like we normally read urban fantasy and they tend to have general formats. And this is, I will say that, because like I've read this series multiple times and I forgot just how many endings this book has. It was kind of like the last Lord of the Rings movie where you think it's about to end and it doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's probably where I got the most whelmed by the end. I'm just like,
yeah,
I can't remember what else happens, but I swear this should be it, and then it wasn't.
I was having an okay time until like the last 10 chapters, and I was like, I'm ready to be fucking done.
Yeah. Like I knew where the characters needed to be when it ended. Like I knew that, Ferda was going to get released. Cahill was going to have a Tanny and all that stuff. And like every time something happened and it hadn't happened yet, I'm like, no. This has to be the part where it happens, and it doesn't. And it took a while to get there. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is about these books. I just really love them. But this one, though, I think it's going to be interesting to discuss the pros and cons of the two different political systems of the countries.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, that too.
Well, because like, on one hand, like awesome freedom, like you can make your own choices. On the other hand, immense poverty versus very little freedoms, but everyone is contributing. Everyone is content. Well, most people are content, I would say, in Ixia, but again, they don't even have the freedom to choose what they want to wear tonight. Yeah. So it's interesting. But
I still don't buy the romance. I hate to tell you this. I don't buy it still.
Yeah, like,
I'm still leaving that on the shelf.
Maybe.
Like,
okay, can we real quick, because I was trying to remember what the hell we said about this is one of my issues when I was like, I was a little lost because like I didn't like recap myself. What happened last time, right, was just like that they had kind of sort of never talked, and then all of a sudden we were in love,
together,
right?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, they talked a lot, but there wasn't.
But
anything.
There
wasn't anything until there was.
Okay, right. Because we can
no build up.
Just real quick, we'll just all acknowledge like when we were in Bookland, there's a big difference between two characters talking and when the love interest walks into the room, because when the love interest walks into the room, everybody goes, that guy, you know, like,
well, like in Blood Air, like she sees this grimy looking guy in a cell, and we're like, that's the love interest. Like, you had him picked.
Well, even in the book that we did with Noah, we still need to finish that series, but even in that book, like the love interest is not really in that book that much, but second
you had her pegged as the love interest the second he walked into that tent.
Yeah, you were just like you're like, they're gonna blink forever. And
well, he did promise not to rape her, okay? So that is the truest declaration of love.
And so it's kind of like, and so I don't know.
And they don't, we're like, when he is in this book, they don't talk much. They don't talk about their feelings. They don't talk about shit. It's like a one line.
It's honestly the way that they communicate. I honestly feel like, and it could be that by this point, like by the time I'd read this book for the first time, I was in a relationship for quite a while. Not with my first long-term boyfriend. We were together for, I think, 3.5 years, I think. And we'd already been together for a while. So a lot of our all of that flirty crap was kind of just like done. And it was just like, hey, how's your day? Yeah, good. How's yours? Yeah, good. Okay. Like, let's watch TV. And so I think, I don't know. And maybe just now, because I've got like over a decade of knowing this series, that I don't really question it. But they don't really do the early beginning stuff. And it's like they've been together for 10 years already.
And I mean, another thing that authors, we've talked about this a million times, but one thing authors tend to struggle with is transitioning couples from the googly eye phase to the, we're actually together phase. And this is very true for TV shows. And I mean, TV shows, it's kind of like a different story because of how they're made. But for books, it's very true. And I think a big part of that for books is just that, like, you're still trying to get tension out of the romantic subplot, but you've resolved it. And so there's no tension to be found. And instead of letting them be like a believable couple that you're like, oh yeah, they should stay together, you're just like, I'm going to give them problems. Or whatever. Like, that's not what's happening here. But like,
and we don't get that at all.
We don't get that at all, but also they never like got together. So I'm just like, I don't understand.
I will say, in the Glass series, because like the romantic subplot in this series isn't really a romantic subplot. It's just another relationship in the series amongst characters. I guess there's more of a romantic subplot to it in the third series of the Chronicles of Ixia. But in this original trilogy, it's just that it just is. It just exists. The second one, sort of. Yeah. The second trilogy, though, I can't. We're just gonna leave it at that till we get there.
Okay. And like, I don't mind romantic subplots being like not super in your face, because I also think, like, we've talked about this before too, but I also think when you're writing, you kind of need to decide
which is the main plot,
like what we're gonna do. Like, is this
like,
because a lot of books try to do them both equally, and I'm like, you're giving me Hunchback of Notre Dame vibes, where like you have all this very serious stuff, and a lot of YouTubers like to play these two clips together of like all these super serious moments next to I'm losing to a bird, and it's like that, or you want me to be very serious and very invested and waste all this time with you guys making googly eyes at each other while everybody's about to die. And I'm like, the tone problems you're creating here are kind of a lot.
I was actually going to say, like, I mean, it's like I get it. Like, I get what you guys are saying. I'm not experiencing this for the first time, so I already just know what I'm expecting, and I expect it. But I also I feel like if I was reading for this for the first time now, I would probably be saying the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing that, I feel like such a hypocrite because half the time, like, we're reading a book with a romantic subplot that's actually a romantic subplot or major plot, depending on the book, and we're just like, but you're busy. And in this book, they're like, yeah, we're busy.
Well,
so we're just not busy.
Yeah.
I think part of it, though, is that, like, there are ways to realistically weave a romantic subplot into a plot without making your reader go, but we're busy. And a lot of that can just come from having the two characters work together, seeing them interact with other characters together, just seeing them work as a team and seeing them build trust in a way other than just making out in the hallway. Like, you can do other things. Like, there are ways to do it that don't involve completely putting a stop to the whole book.
But then there's also ways to do it where she doesn't see Valak for 2.5 months and it's not even a little bit awkward. Like, she doesn't even just not see him. They don't talk. She bought him a Valma statue after she'd been in Cydia for a few weeks or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because it takes a while to get to the jungle. And it's still sitting there when he comes to a room 2.5 months later. Like, she didn't even send it as a I mean, I don't know if she's allowed to at that point though. Like, because relations between the two are it's a bit iffy. But, like, surely she could have, like, just been like, hey, can you just ride this up to the snake forest and just throw over the border? And, like, it'll have, like, 2 Valak. And someone will deliver it.
He'll know it's there.
Well, he's a super awesome spy. Of course he'll know it's there.
Probably has sensors over the border just for that.
But yeah, I guess my point is, like, there are ways to have them, like, interact as a couple without making the reader go, we're busy.
Yeah.
And that's not done. Like, so
I mean, it's just literally all that the romance is. This book is, boo, I miss Valak. Man,
Valak
he shows up and she's like, Valak, and that's it.
And then, and every time she's in trouble, she's like, Valak, come to me. And he comes.
Yeah.
I don't know if it ever actually gets fully explained, but I think how they're able to have their magical link thing is because they're like, okay, so this series uses the term heartmate instead of soulmate, and I hate it. It grinds my gears.
Same.
It does grind my gears.
Yeah, I know we said this last stream, but again, I'm just to reiterate, writing advice from book club with Bae. You can say soulmate.
Yeah.
Just do it. There's no reason not to. We know what you mean.
Yep.
And it's just annoying. So don't make up a term for a thing that's already a thing. Just
for the sake of floofiness.
And I feel like it would work better because she's the soul finder and she's connecting to his soul.
Yeah.
Like, it does.
That would be.
Like, I think what the thing is like their souls have kind of like half merged, which is how she's like able to do the thing. Because your suspicions last book was correct. We find out this book she's a soul finder.
Yeah. And the other thing too about something like soulmates, and this is a self call out for Blackwoods as well. It's a bit goofy. It's a bit kooky. A little cheesy. It's very cheesy. So don't bog it down with, like, terminology that's going to further make your reader question it. Because if you just say soulmates, your reader's going to go, all right. But if you go heartmate, then we go, Why?
Well, also,
Or I do,
heartmate gets, well, I think maybe they used the term, she used the term heartmate because it gets used again, like, and people, like, you know, with the way Cahill brought up, it's like, your heartmates with Valak. And
was this also in the Jenny book too?
Yes, it was.
Okay, I was like,
we bitched about it when it was Castile.
yes,
and whatever the fuck her name is.
So again, also
Penelope.
Everybody else is doing this too. Like, just it's fine, sweetie. It's fine. Just have soulmates. It's okay. Lean in.
Well, in Maria's defense, her heartmate pre-existed Jenny's.
That's true. But what I'm saying is that if other people are coming to the conclusion that I want soulmates without it being dumb, no, you can't. It's always going to be goofy, and that's okay. It's okay.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah,
it's always going to be a little bit like a little weird, and it's fine. It's fucking fine.
There is one thing about Yelena that actually, like, it's not Yelena's fault because she's a fictional character, but I don't know even if it's just the way that it's written or the way the narrator says it, or if I'm just being, but as the series goes on, every time, and this ends up occurring in the Glass series as well, like things of this nature, but like, you know, she learns a trait back in book 1, you know, like tasting for poisons and picking locks. And now it's, I need to go out. And so now I must fix my hair up with my lock picks. And every time I take a bite of food, I test for poisons. And so just every single time she's ready to go out on the thing, and she's like, I put my lock picks in my hair. I'm just like, I don't care. I don't care. And it feels pretentious, and I don't know why, because it makes sense. Of course you would.
Yeah.
Of course you would hide your lock picks in your hair. It makes sense.
So
but also,
one way I think that this could be fixed is, like, if you have established that a character can do a thing, in like one part where she's getting ready, you can just mention once, I always have lockpicks in my hair, or blah always puts put in the lockpick choice, put them in her hair because now she knows how to pick locks, or she's always on the lookout for poison. Cool. So now if it ever actually comes up that she's being poisoned or she needs to pick a lock, even if it's like 3 weeks later, we're like, of course, because she always has lockpicks.
Yeah.
Like she could have been lamenting to Dax or even Cahill or something, like when they're eating. She's just like, I just really wish I could just enjoy food without tasting it for poisons first, just once. Like she could lament the fact that that's just so ingrained into her now.
Right. Or it can even just be like a little throwaway line, so we know it's happening. Okay. And then if it needs to come up, it can come up again, and it's fine. Like, but
it doesn't. I will say that it doesn't bother like those kinds of just pointing it out when it happens in this series doesn't annoy me as much as when it happens in the next series.
Okay.
I think the next one. I hate the Glass series with a fire passion.
I think part of it is like sort of the overhand-holdy feeling that gives you.
Yeah.
Like,
I think you can't expect me to remember one thing. Okay, cool.
Well, or even because, like, if you mention it once and then it comes up later again, then you've mentioned it before, and then when you mention it again because it's coming up and she needs to unlock a door, she pulled a lockpick out of her ponytail because she always kept him in there. Whatever. Cool. Yeah. Done. Like, you've mentioned it twice. It's fine. Chekhov's lockpick. We're Gucci gang. Like, you've covered all your bases. Even if I didn't hear you, even if I forgot, like, I know she learned how to do it last book. It's reasonable.
It's a thing.
I'm not grumpy. Yeah, so I don't think it's necessary.
Yeah.
But
did we want to do a quick character?
Yeah, let's do that.
Character recap.
So we have Yelena.
Yeah.
Yelena Liana Zoltana.
That's a lot of
I know, right? So she is our MC. She was kidnapped as a 6-year-old by Modkin, aka Kengum, who was a bad man, and she had her memory wiped and then was taken and tortured and got a rape-a-doodle, and then she did a stabby stab. And
then went to jail.
Food taster. Yeah, and then she did a food taster for a year, and then the commander's like, I like you. You don't have to be a food taster anymore, but you're also a magician now, fuck off. And she's like, and so she goes south. And that's where we're at with her in this book.
Then we have
Valak,
who's
who
supposed
is
to be our love interest.
Supposedly. He is, okay. Yelena and Valak have much fan art about them, okay? It's fine. If they have fan art, they're a legitimate couple. Although it's very confusing as to how dark Yelena's supposed to be. Because, like, her family are, like, derived from the Sandseed clan.
Mm-hmm.
But she's always described as olive, and the fan art's really weird because, like, half of it, like, she's, like, very... And then other times she's not, and like Leaf has green eyes, and I don't know what the Zoltan is supposed to look like.
Yeah.
I don't. But that is one thing we have in Cydia though. It's a lot. The north is quite pale, like they're very cool toned. Mm-hmm. All that stuff. All the south tend to be more olive and darker.
Yeah, like
they live in the sun.
In a fantasy series like this. It can be hard to figure out like what a person is really supposed to look like, which is kind of why I like that we just do character portraits, because even if you say like someone has like really dark skin, there are lots of people like dark hair, dark, like whatever. There are lots of people that could have very dark skin. You know, like
I think Moon Man, we get a very clear picture of what he's supposed to look like.
Yeah.
But everyone beyond that, no idea.
Yeah, me neither.
But yeah, so we have the main character, got Elena.
And then we got like he's an assassin-y.
Yeah, he's an assassin for Ixia.
Yeah, he's the boyfriend.
Yep, and we get and then we get our first, we get our first clue as to what's going on with the commander regarding his situation. Because we discovered last book the commander is trans. Commander Ambrose is really Ambrosia. But we get our first little hint at the end of this book as to what's going on with him.
Is it like, okay, because when we say the commander's trans,
yes,
even reading it, I'm like,
is he?
Well, I don't know if this is supposed to be like
very, I don't know.
Very progressive trans.
Do you want me to actually, it's not really going to be like, it's not going to ruin the story for you. I'll just tell you what happened, okay?
Yeah, please.
Okay. So when the commander was born, they were like, it's a boy. And then mom dies in childbirth. And then they look back and they're like, it's a girl. What a mistake we made. And turns out mummy didn't want to leave son when she died in childbirth. So her soul went into his body and turned him into a girl. But his soul is the present soul in the body, so that's why he's a boy. It's magic.
So we're not talking about very progressive trans representation. Ooh, got it.
Yeah. No. So, and that's why as well. There's also like clear physical distinct differences when he's ambassador Signe in this, because his mum's soul is. He's not aware that there's two souls.
Okay.
In his body. But she's more present when he's being the ambassador, so he takes on more feminine features.
So I'm going to say I don't know that it's fair to put the label of trans on
he's not trans in the traditional sense, because
It's magically gender fluid.
Yeah, magically gender.
He's magically gender fluid. Yes.
And I don't
and
know
I don't think
how
he has
easily that would have
even though
gotten through publishing today. I think someone might have been like, you might want to workshop this a little bit. But this is, it reads to me as, and I'm not going to be offended on anybody's behalf. Like, that's not my job. But it reads to me as very early 2000s. When did this book come out?
2006.
Okay, yeah. This is very 2006. Stuff you could have done. I don't know that anybody would let you do it today. Again, I'm not offended by it, but that sort of thing doesn't affect me anyway.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, not being personally affected by the issue, I don't know how I would feel if I was. And
yeah, so I'm not gonna
like it online. It seems to be mixed.
Yeah, like, so I'm not gonna put my own stamp of it's problematic on here, because also.
Well, there's sometimes where you can put a problematic stamp on things on behalf of the community without being part of it, like Jack.
Well, like all of House of Night, like House of Night.
Yes.
It's literally just House of Night. Yeah.
Giant problematic stamp. This, because also I don't even know that the author intended this to be.
She didn't intend anything because she didn't outline anything. She was like,
right,
I'm gonna have a poison chick, and then it just happened.
Yeah, so I don't know that the author actually intended this to be like genuine trans representation, especially given this came out in 2006. So this is not my lane. But we've at least addressed it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, like, because there's also the fact that, I mean, I don't think it got mentioned in this book, and I can't remember if it got mentioned in the previous book, but the commander refers to it as his mutation.
That's not good.
It's his mutation.
That is problematic, I would say.
I just remembered that bit. I think that moves it into more problematic territory.
Yes, I would agree.
But what he means by that is he feels like his bits are a mutation of who you should be, not like he feels like he should have a P where there's a V and the V is a mutation. Which I guess technically it is because he was born with a P. And then his mommy took it away.
We're going to go with deferring to someone else on the problematicness of that. But because that's
it's messy,
I guess.
Anyway, so
the Amber's Ambrosia discussion is...
Go ahead.
I'm just confused. I'm still confused.
Yeah, we have a Cahill.
Yeah,
who's apparently the rightful heir to Ixia.
But isn't.
No, but is not.
Can I just say that child. I love how like Super Spy Valak is like, no, real Cahill definitely got killed by me.
He's like, I definitely murdered you, dude.
I definitely murdered that baby. But I'm so super awesome as a spy that I didn't know that for the past 17 years at this point, someone's been raised as the nephew of the king. And trying to petitioning the council every session for an army.
To go to
he
war.
Didn't know. I think that's a big plot hole. I don't think because there's no way, like with the system that Valak has set up in Cydia, there's no way he wouldn't have known about Cahill, but he didn't know about Cahill. So then there's Leaf.
Oh God,
who's Yelena's brother.
Just annoyed the shit out of me this entire book.
He gets it. He gets better as the series goes.
I figured he would, but like this book, I was like, fucking make up your damn
He told
mind,
and throughout this, we have 3, apparently, like, even though when you get your horse name, it never changes, 3 major characters in the series have their name changed, their horse name changed, and Leaf is one of them. He's Sad Man for this series, but then by next series, he gets a new name.
Oh, then we can talk about Kiki now because I stand.
Yes, Kiki.
I Kiki.
I do not stand the horse voices in the narration, but I do stand the horses.
Oh.
They're bad.
I'm going to enjoy not hearing them.
Yes, Yelena is able to mentally communicate with horses.
Yes.
Which is pretty dope. Horses are funny. Kiki's the MVP. Love her.
Yep. Topaz is 8. He's fine.
Yeah, Topaz is fine.
We don't really get to spend much more time with Topaz though because Cahill's a dum-dum. So
yeah,
like don't get too attached. But Kiki, we get more time with Kiki. She's fine.
Is that everybody?
No, we have mom and dad.
We have mom and dad. Yelena meets her parents.
Mom likes trees. Literally, anytime something goes like a hair wrong, it's like, where's mom? Oh, she's just in a fucking tree. And I'm like, okay, cool.
Of course. Ixia is he's
herbologist, basically.
Yeah, and he's the kind of dad you meet, and then you're just like, oh, bless.
Yeah.
Like he's a sweetie. He's a bit, yeah. But then there's Iris, the chick who tried to kill one of the people.
She was in the last book.
Yeah, master magician, her mentor, / now partner person.
Yeah.
Magic partner. Then there's the other master magicians. We'll get to them as we get to them, I guess.
Yeah, because Rose is a bitch.
She mind rapes Yelena. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I actually do think that would be more violating.
Oh yeah.
Like I don't actually have an issue with how that was addressed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if others would have the same criticism, but I don't have any criticism with how the comparisons were made between the 2 events.
Yeah,
I
don't have any problems with it either.
But yeah, I guess that's characters.
So brief recap of previously on
Chronicles of Ixia.
Yeah. Yelena killed a guy and then became a poison taster and made some friends and then fell in love suddenly.
Apparently.
And then helped take down a bad plot, and now she's going home.
Because there's an execution order out for her because she's a magic. So she can't go back to Ixia. Right now.
Yeah.
Right now, no, she can't.
That's why Iris is taking her home. She's also afraid that she's gonna flame out or whatever it's called and like die from magic.
Yeah, like lose control of her magic and then like but like we never actually get a full explanation as to what flaming out is, but the bits that I managed to piece together throughout the multiple readings of all the series, I feel like it's like just like the mental image I get is like a spontaneous person explosion and the power blanket just goes.
Yeah.
That's how I picture flaming out, like a little explosion.
Yeah, I think that's enough of a recap.
Yeah. So let's go ahead. Let's do this.
So we're walking through the jungle, and
as we do.
Yep, and I'm not gonna lie, like when I was like, because again, I think it was like the 2nd or 3rd time I'd read this series that I discovered the map. Cydia was so confusing to me until I found the map, and then it all made so much more sense.
Yeah, I've got it open right now.
So they're right at the bottom of the country. So like they've been working their way down. It's just Yelena and a couple other, 3 other girls now.
That were saved from Mogkin's lair.
kidnappy lair. And Yelena is.
There we go.
Yes.
So we're down here, right?
Yep.
And Ixia is up here. So
yep.
we're places.
We're places.
Ooh, robot. Yeah, I think the big.
Are we good?
Yeah, you're just a bit robot-y. At least for me.
She did get robot-y.
Okay. It happened as soon as you brought the map up, so I'm hoping that now it's gone, it might fix.
Did it fix itself?
Not yet.
I think it's fixing. In progress.
Great.
I didn't know your toaster had a camera. This is very toaster quality.
Because everything's coming through fine for me.
Yeah, you look like you're broadcasting your toaster.
Yeah, you're heavily pixelated and you're a bit robot-y. Maybe like turn your camera off and on and see what happens.
Is my voice at least better?
It's better there, not fully better, but better than before.
Is it worse?
It's the same.
Ah, I see. Okay.
Come here.
Wait, I see eyes. She's back.
There she is.
Okay, good.
Here. Otto.
Iris is like, so we're at your home, and she's like, well, where the fuck is it? And she's like, well, there, and they live up in a giant tree house like compound, and I don't hate it.
No, I like that.
Yeah, I thought it was cool.
Here's my thing is I'll take like almost whatever you throw at me. Like,
yeah.
Okay. Like, I mean, if you read Blackwoods, then you know that I don't like. I'll roll with it. Blackwoods is a whole bunch of like, all right, cool, I'll roll with it. And no, I like it. I like that a lot. So I enjoy that. I think that's a fun bit of creativity, and I'm not mad about that at all.
Yeah, I especially like the fact that her dad created a treehouse elevator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's the way it's written, it feels like, there's like some rooms, some bridges, some hallways. It's all just like some of it's partially exposed, some of it's not. Who knows? It's a giant treehouse compound, and I'm fine. So they go up, and she walks in the room that has the entire clan, because the way that it's there, right? So in the north, there's districts, and you just people in your districts.
You can see on the map, like Ixia is very
uniform.
Nicely, nicely divided.
It's very geometrical. Whereas Cydia there's clans. Not everyone in the clan is related, but you're part of the clan. So you have your clan name, and then you have your family name. And so obviously, like, there's thousands of people within each clan, and you can leave your clan and go to another one. It's fine. Like, I imagine by marriage, like, that would be the only way to leave your clan. So Yelena has Yelena, then her family name is Liana, and then the clan is Sultana. So she goes into the room, and the whole clan's there, and then she just hears, "You reek of blood." And she hides behind Iris like a 5-year-old.
Yeah, she does.
And Iris is like, dude, chill. Like, we've all killed. Who hasn't killed someone before? It's fine. And Leif's like, well, I'm offended. And she's like, you're not being a very good brother.
Yeah, she's like, this is not the warm welcome.
And Yelena's like, excuse me, did you just say he's my brother? And then she gets attacked by Mom.
Yeah, and then Mom is like, wee.
And she's like, Oh, and I'm not gonna lie. Part of it, I think, is also the narrator. She makes like the mum is very much has like the damsel voice, so everything's like, oh, thank fate, you're home. And I'm just like, I can't.
Yeah, I think I mean I felt a similar, not even though I didn't hear her voice, like it was, I imagine it like that.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I was thinking before. Sorry. Yeah. So on a related note to the annoyance at the like lockpick thing, I don't think like I put my lockpicks in my hair and I taste my poisons. I think what really actually made me start getting annoyed at that is Yelena hears her cousin Nutty say, "Oh, snake spit once," and snake spit is said in the same vein as "Oh, drats," or "Oh, damn it," you know, those kind of things. She hears her say it once, and for the rest of the series, she's like, "Oh, snake spit," and I'm like, "Where did you are the most impressionable person I've ever read." You've known your cousin for a minute and you start snake spitting up the place. Like, it's weird.
You're like, I like that. That's mine now.
Ow. But yeah, so she meets Mum. Mum's like, yay. And then Iris is like, look, I have to go and do stuff.
I'm busy.
So, and so they're like, Leaf can take Yelena to the Citadel.
Mm-hmm.
In 2 weeks, and they're like, Yelena's like, please don't make me walk for days with this guy. And Iris is like, dude, chill. It'll be fine.
Iris is like, you're gonna do it, deuces. See ya.
Yes. Things weren't fine. But then Daddy comes home.
And it's me, Dad.
And Yelena's like, you don't even know if I'm your daughter. And they're like, well, besides the fact that you're the exact same age as our daughter, looks like you look like your mother. You have the exact same name as our daughter. Here's some pictures I've been drawing of you over the years, which I think is sweet. He's been sketching what he thinks she looks like for 17 years, which is it's cute.
Yeah.
But yeah, she finds out that Dad goes out, discovers new species of plants, determines uses for stuff. He also Criollo
an inventor.
Yes. Also in this book we learn that the proper name for Criollo is Theobroma, which again is another name for chocolate. Both of those terms are another word for chocolate. Curare also exists IRL.
Mm-hmm.
And does what? Well, it doesn't. At least I don't know if I feel like she's probably taken some liberties, but the general vibe of what it does is the same IRL. Mummy makes perfumes, and Leaf's magical abilities is he can smell a person's feelings and intentions and history. You can smell it.
Can you imagine smelling an intention?
Like that's like if it had just been like sense it, sniff
Yeah,
it.
if he was just like an empath, that would be fine. But like, yeah, why are you sniffing intention?
He's a sniffy empath.
Well, that's it though. Like, we don't know if it's just like, I think it could be like the same as you, like, you know, the people who like see sounds.
Yeah, they have that sense dysmorphia thing.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's the same thing where he's not actively, like, he's not walking around going, you know, but like his mind registers it as a smell, maybe.
I'm gonna dub this needlessly complicated. Like, sometimes you can just calm down.
Buddy, no!
He's so cute.
Ow!
But then they have to leave early, so they go, and Mummy's like, I'm gonna go with you, and Yelena's like, okay, and then they're like, go say goodbye to your mother, and she's like, isn't she coming? No, she hasn't left the treehouse.
She doesn't leave the trees.
So Yelena is 21 at this point as well.
Yes.
Okay.
And she was taken when she was 5.
Yeah, like 5 or 6 or something like that.
Oh, 6. She was taken when she was 6. So it's been that long since Mummy left the treehouse.
Yeah, it's been 14 years. I wrote that down.
Then she must be 20. She must be 19 last
she's
book.
20.
Then.
20
Yeah,
or
okay.
somewhere around there.
Okay. Then they go for a walkie walk. Yelena, Leaf is convinced she's an Ixian spy because she still has her uniform in her backpack and she has Ixian coins in her bag. And it's like, well, what the fuck else would she have? She just came from Ixia.
Yeah, I don't know why we
life.
made her brother a fuckwit.
Stupid.
And so one of the things in the South as well is like the women all wear like dresses and stuff like that. Each clan has very distinct ways of dressing.
Mm-hmm.
Zoltana's sounds horrible. I'm not going to lie. It seems like they wear really, really vibrant Hawaiian shirts all the time.
Yeah, it does.
But her cousin Hazelnut, aka Nutty, also I don't know why they chose Nutty for her because I think next book we meet her brother who is Chestnut. So I don't know why she is Nutty. Maybe he's Chesty. I don't know.
Maybe he's Chesty.
Well, all you kids have nut in their name and only one of them is Nutty, and it doesn't make sense to me. But she sews and she makes Yelena skirt pants.
Yeah.
Skants. She makes a skants. And so it looks like a skirt, but the inside's pants. So it's fine. So she can still do her like fighty fight stuff.
Well, but that would have.
I feel like it's not actually a skirt over pants. I feel it's like more like harem or like genie pants where like the bottom is really bulbous.
That's what I was thinking.
But you would run into the exact same problems you would have if you were just wearing
fabric.
a skirt.
Yes, I know. I don't
like whether it's like a skirt but longer. The fact that you're like unless it's a mini skirt. Like
I think maybe
mini
the fact
skirt,
that
you're running into movement restriction. Like
I think it's not too much of an issue for Yelena because most of her fighting is done with her bow. Like so, she just needs to be able to like spread her legs a little bit and then go, and then that's it.
I'm just like pants under a skirt might actually inhibit that more than it would help. Like
yeah, and skirt looking pants depends on how poofy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but
like
Nutty makes her scants and they leave. And Yelena has exactly 3 items of clothing for her 2-week walk. So like
yep.
That said though, I feel like that probably would have been a normal type of thing in a period in which everyone walked everywhere.
Yeah.
Like they would, if something got particularly dirty, they'd wash it in a stream.
They only have like a few pairs of clothes.
I'm not going to go into a lecture, but the answer is
I'm going to go into a lecture.
The answer is it depends.
When you're having to carry everything on your back, like I feel like that's probably normal.
It depends. Moving on. We don't need a history lecture. Like it's fine. I'll be quiet.
Yes. So then they go to the market and she's like, "Hey lady, I want material. Send them to Nutty." And she's like, "Okay." So Nutty can make her more skirt pants. And they eat and Leaf ignores her. And then they keep going for a walk the next day because they sleep at the market. And it's the hot season. Yep. And then Yelena's like, "We're about to get ambushed." And Leaf's like, "Don't be a dum-dum." And then they get ambushed. And it's Cahill and his men.
Yeah, and he's like, "I'm the real king of Ixia."
Yeah, I didn't send you a pronunciation guide this book. I'm sorry. So, how did you pronounce creepy rapey dude?
Joel.
It's Goal.
Goal.
In
my head.
How is it spelled? I've never seen it. Spelled. I'm not gonna lie.
It's spelled Goel.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it's a hard G.
So because I did not like him at all, I would just say Goel in my head.
Honestly, that's how my brain would have pronounced it. Probably is Goel, like Noel, but Goel.
Or
Yeah.
Howell.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's Goal. Then we have Marek, who. So, you know how in Mercy versus Alpha Omega, we have an issue with it being the Marok as the established pronunciation, and then it's the Marek in the other series.
Yes.
With this one, it's the opposite. I'm pretty sure he's Marek in the Yelena Bay series, and then in the Glass series, he's Marok. I'm pretty sure. We can't escape this problem anywhere we go.
I'm gonna write a strongly worded letter. I don't know to who, but to the proper authority.
Jennifer Van Dyke, because she calls size says, and it's not okay.
And we're gonna.
And she calls curare cure.
We're gonna have a meeting. We're gonna work this shit out.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I could see myself if I was reading curare, pronouncing it cure in my head, but when there's already an established audiobook and it's a real thing in real life, if you're going to narrate a book that has it in it, you Google how to say curare, and then it comes up and it's curare. It's a 3-syllable word. But
okay.
We meet Cahill,
anyway.
and he's like, you're a spy, and she's like, I'm not a spy, and he's like, yes, you are. You're my prisoner. I'm gonna take you to the Citadel, and she's like, I was already going there, you moron.
Yeah, she's like, literally, that's where I'm fucking going. But okay, I guess.
And he's like, but now
I'm
you're
not
gonna
doing
be
it in
my
chains.
prisoner. Yep, and they chain her up, and she's like, sleep, everyone, and makes everyone sleep, and then she eats. And Leaf is not fisticuffed. In any of this, he's just like chilling with Cahill, but there's no fights with him or anything. And he's just like cool. Yeah, Gold chases her and manages to get her, and then she's like no, and then she gets him and ties him to a tree, and then she goes back, and she's like
then sneaks into Cahill's tent.
Like massive power move. She's like, I could have cheated, but I didn't.
That was pretty badass. I'm not gonna lie, I liked that part a lot.
Yeah.
When she had the knife to his throat and was like, I could have left, but I'm not going to, because that's what someone guilty would do, and I'm not guilty.
And also, I don't know how to get back to the Citadel. Please take me. Yes.
It's like
I feel like I was part of it.
Yeah, it's like I'm going there anyways. I'm not a spy, so we're gonna walk there together.
Yeah, and
so they do.
And on the way there,
burns his ego real bad.
Yeah, on the way there, he's got like this giant sword that's way too big for him and heavy. And she's like, that sword's too big. And he's like, no, it's not. And she's like, I'll beat you.
So this was the king's sword.
Yeah, he honestly, he's a toddler. He's a toddler. He really is.
It was entertaining though.
Yeah, like I did enjoy it.
The banter with him is better than any banter we don't get with Valak.
I was thinking the same thing. Like, I think in one of my notes, I'm like, I would buy this more. I would pick that up off the shelf.
Honestly, if he hadn't been so thoroughly neutered, then I would be like, this is the guy.
Yeah, same.
And what's really weird is later on when he's just like, I want you to be my boo. And she's like, I got a heartmate. And he's like, damn. But can I be a nice guy and just try and worm my way in? Like, honestly, he's the ultimate nice guy, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
He's trying to get in the pants, and as soon as he realizes it's not happening, you fucking slut. I'm like, that's how he goes.
And really, I think he would have, I don't know, I think he could have done something a little bit more interesting with him, because he set up like an interesting, like, kid with with a rightful heir complex. I'm like, you could have done something fun with his character, but we turned him into a fake. into like a shitty nice guy kind
pretender
of
to
character. And I'm like, he could have been really interesting, but okay.
Yeah, I liked him in the beginning until Alex shows up at the end.
Yeah, he's in next book. We'll
I
see
think
him
he
again.
could have been a really fun friend character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think what Dax ended up being with her is something he could have been if he didn't have the tantrum.
Yeah.
But he did. They get to the Citadel, and Rosie's like, spy, invade mind, and she's like, hell no you don't, and she's like, oh yes I do, and like,
Fights her, yeah.
because she's a master magician. She's the most powerful magician ever.
Yeah, she's the first magician.
Yeah, so the ranking system of the magicians is if you're a master level magician, you're ranked in most powerful, and she's first magician. She's the most powerful magician alive. And she's like, oh, and Yelena's like, well, fuck. And then Valak, come to me. I need your resistance. And he's like, you got it. And then he gives her a cuddle, and like mentally, and then she passes out. And she wakes up, and
Cahill's with her, and it's like, you're not a spy.
Yeah, she's buddy with Cahill's horse at this point as well.
Yes.
And he's like, I'm sorry, I thought you were a spy, but you're not. My bad. And she's like, you're rude. And Iris is like, stop being a bitch, and Yelena's head, like, come. And
yeah.
Like, okay, fine.
Yeah, she's like, get out of your fucking room, stop sulking.
And yeah, so now Yelena has to learn stuff that's going to try and work out what her specialty is. She needs to learn how to ride a horse, because all magicians have to be able to ride a horse. And
naturally,
the reason it actually makes sense why she needs to know.
But naturally, Cahill's her instructor, which was another thing that I was like, I know that her and Valak are not breaking up, but this is a good setup. I'm into the setup.
It almost gets a love triangle, except Yelena has literally zero interest. Like she literally has zero interest. So
yeah,
he tried the love triangle, but that's what I mean. Like
this
series,
and she was like, "I'm not fit for this."
Like this series, like doesn't have any of the romantic subplot tropes at all.
Like, which is fine. It's just
we don't need them all the time.
We could have done something. We could have, but we still could have done something interesting with this character. And we forewent that option.
Yeah.
He's in the next book.
But he already did the thing. Like, he's already ruined for me.
But he's in the next book. That's all I'm just gonna keep
I'm just saying, like, I already am like, okay, you're creepy.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, you can go now.
Once you throw a tantrum like that, that's it.
Yeah. He did throw a pretty bad tantrum. So they're like, pick a horse, and she's like, and she's like, Topaz, which horse? And he's like, Kiki's pretty cool, and she's like, okay, Kiki, be my horsey friend, and Kiki's like, yes, lavender lady.
Yeah.
I will say I don't like some of the horse names, and lavender lady is one of them. And I feel like part of that could also be the way the horse says it.
You know what part of it is for me?
The horse voice is awful.
Yes. It's House of Night.
Grandma Redbird.
And her lavender chocolate chip cookies.
And it sucks because
was not
like
very
my
old.
favorite scent.
Grandma Redbird was like 50-something maybe, and she looked very sprightly, but the voice we gave her was like this, the old crone. She's about to die.
But she's only 50.
I'm like, I've met people who are 50, and
my mom is 50. That's not what she sounds like.
You tell your mother she's wrong.
I will call her right now and tell her. Actually, no, she's asleep. I'm not gonna call
Would you like me to send you some of the audiobooks so you've got the voice reference?
I don't
to tell
want
her how elderly she should sound. What about your mother, Bae? How does she sound? Because I'm pretty sure I've heard your voice. I've heard her voice, and it is not Grandma Redbird.
Yeah, she's older than Grandma Redbird in the books canonically, and yeah, no, she doesn't sound like that.
No, she sounds
I will say, my grandmother, who is almost 80, or maybe is already 80. I don't know how old my nan is. Oh, she's 80. She's 80. She turned 80 last year. She does not sound like that.
Yeah, my grandma, who was in her 80s, did, but she was like 88 when she passed. So
yeah, I can hear that my nan could be starting down the route of getting
starting down
to that voice.
Yeah, but Grandma Redbird's supposed to be like the sprightly woman that goes around taking care of Lavender, but she sounds like she's about to die any moment.
And
the
I
bitch has a lavender farm. It doesn't have
I can guarantee as well that Grandma Redbird is old enough to say film instead of film. She would say film with that voice.
Anyway.
Have you noticed that?
Yes.
People say film.
Grandma Redbird.
Yes, anyway.
It always leads back to House of Night for us.
Always.
Oh,
yes.
Wait. Quick side thing. PC and Kristen's new book is out. We need to read it. We got to do it next. I already have it.
Next. Okay.
It's like Spellcaster or something.
Oh, I wonder if there's any House of...
all right. Sorry, everybody. Side tangent. Good.
No, there's no updates on the TV show.
You already checked?
It's not gotten picked up by a network yet.
Okay, what is the name of the new book again?
Let me get it.
I'm looking up reviews on Goodreads.
It is called Spells Trouble.
Okay, yep. I am just using correct and proper methods acquiring the book.
Oh yeah, I acquired it as well. I acquired it as soon as I found out that it came out.
Came out in May?
Jules was the one that actually texted me and was like, "Hey, there's a new PC and Kristen book," and I was like, "Oh my way!"
Did that come out in May? Are we that far behind with it?
Yeah,
it came out in May.
Wow,
we're in September.
We dropped the ball, guys. I'm sorry.
We did.
But you know what? We're gonna read it, and it's gonna be bad. I'm really excited.
Okay. We all know that the casts are one of those author duos that get way higher Goodreads ratings than their books deserve. And it's only got 3.27 stars.
Oh, I'm so fucking excited.
Have you read it yet?
No, I have not. I can't wait to though. I can't wait to rip my own hair out. I love reading PC and Kristen cast books.
Unfortunately, this book was as flat as old soda. Oof. Oof. Okay, yep. I don't want spoilers, so I'm just leaving. You know what though? Like, Die Sisters was the most beautiful thing I have ever experienced.
Oh, I'm ready.
The second one's coming out in 2022. The second Sisters of Salem. It's called Omen's Bite.
Oof. I can't.
Oh, I'm ready. I'm so ready.
No. It's already just so cringy.
All right.
Anyways, back to this book.
We'll get working on that. We're just going to go ahead and do it. We don't want to do it anyway. Moving on.
Yeah. So, yeah, she picks a Kiki, and Kiki's like, Lavender lady, be my friend. And she's like, yes, I will be your friend. And Kaya's like, no. It's a weird
She's a
horse. It's got
Sansi
blue eyes.
horse.
No,
Yeah.
he literally was just got blue eyes, so she's unlucky. And Kiki's like, fuck you. And Yelena's like, yeah, fuck you. And he's like, who are you agreeing with? And she's like, clearly the horse. And the stable master's like, hey, Hill, don't be a dum-dum. Horse is fine.
Yeah.
And Yelena makes him apologize to the horse. And he does. And then Kiki's like, fine, I guess we can be friends. So then he teaches her horsey stuff and repeats for a bit. And then Iris is like,
yeah, we get some
Yelena,
training montages.
Yeah. And Iris is like, quick, come to the medical center. Also, have you seen the map of what the keep layout is?
No, I have not.
Let me magic study keep map. Open in new tab. Okay. Let me do a share. Just because also it makes, I don't know if this one helps as much. Everything makes sense. How do I, there we go. Share screen, window, you share. So this isn't the whole Citadel, because like there's the Citadel, which is like, you know, the outer walls, town, and then there's the keep is like effectively the castle in the castle structure of the Citadel.
Mm-hmm.
So up here is where, wait, does my, yes, it does, excellent. So that's where Iris lives, that's where Zatora, third magician, lives, that's where Rose, first magician, lives, and that's where Bane, second magician, lives. Training yard is here, stables, pasture. Oh, this comes in later. That's next series. Classrooms, infirmaries over here. So she's up, I think she's up here, and yeah. So she's up here, and Iris is like, quick, come here. And she's like, 8. So she yeets over there. And that's where we're at in the story right now. So she goes there, and they're like, we have a brutally tortured and raped comatose girl. See if you can fix her. And she's like,
I don't know this bitch. I can't fix her.
Yeah, because she's like, you fixed the commander, fix her. And she's like, I knew the commander. I don't know her. But yeah, she can't find Tula's soul. And then she finds out that Tula is the 11th girl that had been kidnapped, and all the others were brutally tortured, raped, etc., and then killed. Tula is the exception because she's not dead. She was found, she was brought, and Yelena's like, I need her sister. And they're like, so Iris goes to go get her sister. And while Iris is gone, the healer is like, see if you can do a heal. And she's like, okay. And then she fixes a finger, and then she goes to fix another finger, and then passes out and gets sent away. And then we find out later she actually healed everything.
Yeah, we found out she was OP as fuck.
But we also learned that her magic works weird. Like, she can't start a fire, but she can make other people start fires. She can't throw things, but she can make other people use their magic to make the things fly. And when she was healing, we end up finding out that instead of healing the injury, she absorbed the injury and then healed herself.
Yes.
And Hayes is freaked the fuck out. He's just like, you're a soul finder and you're fucking creepy. She's like, can someone please tell me what the fuck a soul finder is?
And they're like, no, not yet. Bye.
Yes. But she's training with Bane, one of the master magicians, and he's like Professor Flitwick, but like more grandpa-y, I feel. He loves learning, and he finds history fun. And yeah, Iris comes back. There's the new beginnings phase. She goes with Cahill as friends because they're friends now, and she's like, "This is weird as fuck." She makes friends with a couple of. She makes friends with Bane's two students that he mentors, Dax and Gelsey.
Yeah.
And Dax is like, "There's all the goss about you." And
Dax was fun. I liked him.
I like Dax.
Yeah.
And he just keeps coming back to her though with like, everyone's saying all this weird shit about you. Just so you know, it's fun. I'll fill you in tomorrow.
He's like, here's the rumor mill report for today. I will be back at 4 p.m. on the dot tomorrow with my next report.
Yeah, no, he's fun. And I'm pretty sure it's never explicitly stated, but I'm pretty sure it's got he wants Gelsey to be his girlfriend. Is that the vibe you guys got? I feel like that's what it was. But
there was some like insinuation for that towards the end when Gelsey went missing.
Yeah. But then her and Cahill gets the cranks again because he kind of puts two and two together and works out. Oh no, that's later. Never mind.
No.
A Scission delegation is coming also soon, but Opal is there now. Opal is Tula's sister. And she's like, what do you guys like to do? And she's like, well, we like to hide in a place. And she's like, excellent. And then so she forms a place in her head and goes and rescues
Yeah, she's
Tula.
helping him. She gets her out. She gets her sister out, passes out, wakes up to her brother holding her hands.
And she's like, what the fuck? And Leif's like, you're gonna die.
You're literally gonna die. Like, okay. Yeah, thank you would be nice.
And everyone's mad at her. Except
for
Tula
overusing
and
her
Opal.
powers.
And Iris is like, you're naughty. And she's like, excuse you. And she's like, everyone thinks you're a soul finder. You gotta stop. And she's like, what's a soul finder? And she's like, there was a soul finder. He reanimated dead people, had a dead person army. It was terrifying. And I don't know if we find out in this one, but the whole issue with the like OG soul finder, the Davian Plateau used to be mountains. And that battle made it a plateau. Mountains. Yes. Like that's why everyone is so terrified of the concept. Like it's that. And it's what caused the hole in the blanket on the plateau. So everyone's like, no. And she's like, okay, fine. But it's Yelena, so not fine. She never listens to what she's told to do. Which, babe, what are your thoughts on that bit? Because I know, like, are you thinking it's more like in an Alex way or in a justified way? When she's
which
like,
part? Sorry.
Listen. Just general Yelena's screw the rules, I'm gonna do what I want approach.
I didn't hate it that much. Like
I didn't either. It didn't bother me.
Excellent,
so in a lot of ways it felt like in a lot of ways it feels more justified, like because we get the explanation as to why everybody's like freaking out. But also if somebody told me like I was a chosen one, but like not really. Because Alex is the chosen one, but in a way that is good, right?
Yeah.
She's a chosen one in a way that's bad. And it almost reminds me of like, this is a little bit different, but Jalen in the Red Queen's War series, where he's the backup. And his grandma is eventually like, your sister's dead. You have to. And he's like, I don't want to be the chosen one. And she's like, tough shit. Anyway, so it's like you're special, but like, so it's not that annoying.
Yeah, and I feel like as well, like in this one, she argues with herself about doing her own thing a lot as well. Like when she goes to meet who she thinks is Ferda at the time. Later, she's like, I should tell Iris, but I can't because Iris won't let me go to the meetup if I tell her. Yeah. And I need to be at the meetup or the trap won't work. So like she at least thinks it through and she does what she thinks is best at the time. She's not just like, I do what I want. And then she's like, you know.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
like I'm not getting I do what I want vibes from this at all. Like, you know, there's a difference between I do what I want and I'm in a tough spot. So I guess I need to think outside the box because everybody's afraid I'm going to flatten some mountains. And I don't really want to flatten some mountains. So I guess I should do something else. Like, instead of just letting everybody treat me like I'm about to flatten some mountains.
Yeah.
Which is fully justified within the text. You know, like nothing Alex does is justified within the text.
Except for banging Aiden, that's the only thing.
Right. But other than that, like nothing, none of the independent thinking decisions that she makes is actually,
She's a
none of them are
toddler.
justified within the text. She's just having a tantrum for no fucking reason. None of this reads like a tantrum to me.
Axel, I was hoping that you weren't going to be annoyed by it because, like, I'm.
No, like, you know, you can have a character be like, fuck you, I do what I want, but without it being stupid. I mean, even if they are like, just fuck you, I do what I want, with no justification, as long as that's in the text and you're not expecting me to think that there's some greater good justification, that's still fine. But you as the author have to actually be aware of what's going on. Like, so what makes it work is that there's not a disconnect between me and the text here. Whereas with like something like the Covenant series, the text wants to be like, Alex is the smartest. I'm like, Alex is a fucking toddler. She's a nitwit. She's a whiny piece of shit. And
yeah, because I can't remember what series it was, but there was a character that would do stupid things. It wouldn't work out, and they go, you know what? I'm not going to make that mistake again. And it, Mercy, that's right. Mercy has done some stupid things, and she's like, I'm not going to do that again. I'm going to leave a note saying where I went next time.
Well, yeah, and like Rose from Vampire Academy and Sydney, same thing. Rose. Like, they make some mistakes, but it's justified within the text. And some of it is just like they're teenagers and they're kind of silly. But then they don't do it again. And yeah, like Mercy has an adjustment period when it comes to leaning on other people. But then like by the third book, she's like leaving notes. She's like, I filled this person in because, you know, if I go missing, best to have somebody who knows like where to start looking for my body. So like you don't.
And in this also, like, Yelena had a backup. She had a boo-boo. She had a Valak there. What was supposed to.
Well,
was supposed to. It didn't work out. But so
again, it's justified within the text. So like, it's fine. I'm not mad.
Yes.
I'm only going to get mad if you're asking me to think that a character is very smart when they continuously put themselves and everybody else in danger. For no reason. Like, and if you're going to have them do that, that's fine. But you need to know that they're doing that.
Dumb.
Yeah. And that's fine. Because then it doesn't have to be because they're dumb. It can be because they're selfish. It could be because whatever. But if they're going to take those sorts of actions that Alex takes in the Covenant series, your reasoning behind it needs to be something other than she's very, very smart. Because no, she's not, if that's her reason.
So after Tula wakes up, everyone's cranky, and Tula's like, no, fuck off, everyone. I'm only talking to her. But Leaf stays. And that's fine. Because Leaf actually gives Yelena the strength to, because they're like, look, it's going to suck. It's really going to suck. Because also Leaf helps interview victims and stuff like that. That's his job. Yeah. But in this situation, he's not just there in that capacity. He's also there as like a battery for Yelena as well.
A battery for charger port.
Yeah, so they're in Tula's head because Yelena can do that. And she's like, look, let's go through it all. I'm sorry. You're going to have to relive some shit. I'm really sorry. Yeah. So they do. Big guy pricked her with something that had a distinct smell, covered in tattoos. It wasn't a fun 2 weeks. And then they're like, okay. And then Leaf comes back later and he's got like some scent stuff. And he's like, hey, I have some scenty stuff. smell, and so because Yelena has also experienced it, because he couldn't really focus on the smell.
Yeah.
He was concentrating on keeping it all powered. So they took it in turns smelling stuff, and then they find out that the smell was curare, which is not well known to many people, and the only people that could get enough curare to have such a concentrated amount is his dad, and the only person who could concentrate it that much is his mother. And they're like, well, fuck, not good. And then the Ixian delegation comes with Ambassador Signe, who is the commander as woman. And she's like, well, Balak must be here. And then she finds him, and he's like, looks like this dorky, drab old advisor dude. And Ari and Jenko are there. And it makes me happy that they're there.
Before all that is the Sandseed stuff.
Oh, is the Sandseed stuff before that?
Yeah.
Okay. That's right. Yeah.
So we go to the Sandseed.
Yes. So in Cydia there are the Avivian plains, and only the Sandseed peeps and the Zoltanas can go through the plains without the plains magic making them. Because Zoltanas are related to the Sandseeds.
They're an offshoot.
Yep. So they go. Well, the others go. Yelena gets left behind, and she's like, "I don't want to be left behind," so she goes.
So she makes Kiki go find Topaz.
Yeah. And she ends up running into Leif. I can't remember the exact order. Anyway, her and Leif are doing a thing. And then
they're going to go get a sample of something, and that's when we see Moonman.
Soil sample, yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's red dirt, and they saw red dirt when Tula was kidnapped. So then Moonman comes along, and he's like, I'm your story weaver. I am going to weave your story. And Leif's like, I don't want the story weaving. I told you this. And he's like, well, too bad. I'm going to talk to Yelena. And Yelena's like, yeah, I'm going to talk to Moonman. And then he's like, do you want to...
Leif throws a fucking hissy fit because he's like, you don't trust me? And it's like, no shit, I don't trust you.
Yeah. And so she goes off with Moonman, and he's like, do you want to see what happened, like, the day you were kidnapped? And she's like, yes, please. And Leif saw the whole thing. Yeah,
Leif was hiding in the bushes when she was kidnapped. She also gets all of her childhood memories back, so she remembers...
Then, she has to promise to help fix Leif in exchange for all of her childhood memories. And she's like, yeah, I guess. And gets all of her childhood memories back. And then she comes out of Vision Quest and is in the Sandseed Village.
At camp, yeah.
Yes, camp. And Kiki's there, and she's like, and some lady's like, I bred her. I'm going to take her for a ride. And then she yeets, and Cahill's like, she's going to steal your horse. And she's like, I don't care, and walks off. The Sandseeds don't like Cahill because he's trying to recruit them for his Let's Fight Ixia. And they're not happy with Iris because she brought him. So they're like, you two need to leave, and we're just going to talk to our cousin. And so then Yelena sticks around. She has a nap, wakes up, goes and talks to the Sandseeds, and they're like, look, it's a bad guy. He's a Davian. They're bad peeps. They warp. They're bad, baddie bad. And she's like, cool. He's like, by the way, he's gonna kill Tula. He doesn't have a choice. He can't move on with his ritual until she's dead. And she's like, well, fuck. And they're like, yeah, you better go. So she goes back, discovers Kiki's Gust of Windgate, which is like a special, like extra super duper fast gate
that she can do
in the plains because Sandseed horses can run extra fast in the plains. Yeah. So she gets back, but she's too late. Tula's dead. Opal's gone, and there's a thing saying we want Yelena on the full moon trades, and they're like, "Well, we can't trade."
They're like, we're not giving them Yelena. What are you
'Cause-
kidding? Are you kidding?
Yeah, because they've established as well that the 12th and final sacrifice has to go willingly.
Yeah.
Like, they have to consent, even if it's just for a minute or a split second, sorry. They have to consent. And so, yeah, they can't just come and kidnap Yelena. So they're like, well, fuck. And then the Ixians come.
Yes, now and Ari and Janko are little babies.
Yeah, they're
very
here.
sweet little boys. I love them so much. I still love them.
They're
here.
One thing I love about him is like Janko's like, Ari's been so worried about you, and like making out like Ari's just been fretting every time, and Yelena and Ari are just like, yeah, I'm sure Ari's been fretting. I think they're cute.
I think they're so cute. I love them. The commander is posing as the ambassador.
Yes. And
Valak
is
an advisor or something.
Yeah, he's got like a wig and prosthetics and stuff. Like Valak has all the stuff. He's got all of it.
Yeah, he's fancy.
And then Janko gives Yelena like a carved snake bracelet that Valak carved for her, and she's like, I've been having nightmares about snakes. That's weird. Because she's been having nightmares about snakes. And but she wears it. And then Kato's like, is that your heartmate? Yeah. And then she's like,
oh yeah.
Like that. Is the guy missing half his ear your heartmate? I don't think we ever find out how Janko loses his ear, by the way.
He lost it last book. I think is what they said.
No, he was already missing it last book.
I don't remember.
Well, weird. Just a guy missing some ear.
Lose half his ear. Not Jan Lo, Janko.
I know what I typed.
Google had no. It had a search result for a split second, and then it lost it, saying like there's nothing. And I'm like, well, that's not true. You had the result, and then you made them disappear.
You took them, Google.
I don't know. I don't know how he lost half his ear. Anyway, he's missing half his ear though. And he's like, the guy missing half his ear, your heartmate, and she's like, yeah.
She's like, ew, no.
And this is where I think it's in this conversation where it's like, oh, you're fucking Valak, and she's like,
not yet.
Excuse you.
It is not yet, but it is close. We're getting there.
God damn it. We're getting there. Okay, then. So, yeah, they have a chitty chat. She also meets the ambassador, and she's like, tell your cousin I said hi. And the ambassador's like, I certainly will, and I'm sure he will also say hi. Wink, wink. By the way, have you met Advisor Ilum? And she's like, no, I haven't. And Valak as Advisor Ilum is just like, yeah, cool, bye. And Yelena's like,
and she's like, oh no, what if he doesn't like me? But that doesn't last long, thank God. It's just one line of like, oh fuck, what if he doesn't like me?
Well, yeah, because they banged once, and now they haven't seen each other for 2.5 months. Yeah. Like, I think it's a fair feat to have.
Yeah, right? To be like, hey, we haven't even spoken to each other. I don't know if he still likes me. Exactly. We boinked once in a very high-stress situation.
Because also at this point, she also doesn't know if Valak is actually helping her whenever Valak comes to me. Because Aris is like, I don't see how that's possible. But
Valak, come to me.
I wonder if we're getting to that in the new cast book.
I hope. I'm so excited for it in like the worst way. I'm ready to be angry, you know?
Like, I don't know what to expect. Because
I don't want to read anything about it. I know there's some twins, and that's it.
Because I know that, like, yeah, House of Mad had its vibe. Dionysus was the most beautiful disaster.
Oh my God, it was horrible.
But it was amazing. Have you ever
Oh,
read a
4-hour
more
stream.
wonderfully atrocious book? I
Oh,
haven't.
yeah, like
I don't know if this book can live up to that.
Yeah.
I
Or live down
honestly
to it.
like how soon can you guys do this? How soon can we do this? Because I'm
like next week.
all the
You
way
guys-
next week.
You guys give
I need to sleep.
Addie,
I'm sick.
Addie, you tell us your earliest available date. I will be available. We'll see if you are. If not, then
Oh,
we'll work out the
wait,
next
I can
available date.
I can do Monday morning.
I can do Monday night.
I can do Monday morning. Okay, I'm just salty.
I can do it. I don't have class this Monday morning.
Okay.
So
Okay.
there we go.
Monday it is. What happens next? She's got her guards.
Her parents show up. Or her parents are
No.
she gets news that her parents are coming.
Oh,
Doesn't
yeah,
Cahill
parents-
figure it out now? Like that he's
No, not yet.
okay.
I have my notes.
Okay. She goes back to her room.
Oh, she goes
And the
back to
guards
her
check out the
room.
room, and Valak's there, and he's ready for some brown chicken, brown cow, and they do. And then he goes.
Oh no, he does say you're fucking valid.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was like, it's in your notes.
Oh, excellent.
I'm using
Okay.
your notes.
Oh, you're using mine? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, then she goes to her room and her boyfriend's there. He's gonna help.
Oh
her
yeah, because
tomorrow.
we learned something about Valak as well. Like because he works it out because he realizes like the snake and the butterfly pendant they're carved from black rock with silver flecks all through
Oh
it.
yes, because that was Valak's calling card for his murder.
Yes,
His
pre-takeover. And I don't know if you guys will be interested in this, and it's not really spoiler. We get Valak's origin story in the third trilogy,
Cool.
which is it. We get to see why he starts leaving carvings everywhere. But yeah, that used to be what Valak did in Yay, and just like, excuse you, lots of people carve stuff out of rocks. How dare you? And she leaves. And then then her and Valak get busy.
For one whole line. That's it. He shows up, one line, they have sex, and then he's like, okay, bye.
Like
That's what their relationship is.
even in a book where the romantic subplot is not the main thing, like it should be more than that.
Like, I don't see the point of why they're together. Like, there's no point in them being together
Because they're
it's like,
heart mates.
who gives a? What does that even fucking mean?
Like, I don't know. You would
Because they're Helena, okay? Leave them alone.
like you would think that they would have something to talk about, like, you know, like yeah, they're like she's supposed to be sad about somebody dying, so you would think it would be like and then after we were laying there and he
Also,
was
they
like,
haven't seen each
"Tell
other for
me,"
2 months.
and he was like, "Tell me about all your time there, all your
Yeah,
time
like tell me
here."
about your. Like, did you find your parents? Like, you know,
Yeah,
tell me everything.
and then there's a line like, "I told him everything, and he like just listened, and so like I didn't stop. I didn't mean to tell him everything, but it just all came out." And then they
I
actually
told
talk
him about my mom and dad.
and then there's actually like dialogue where it's like, "Oh, how do you feel about your mom? Oh, I feel like this. She's always in a tree. It's really weird. And my dad's like a plant guy. What if he poisons me? Because it seems like that's something he could do." And then my brother, lots of crazy shit with my brother, and we actually get her like some mental processing. And then like this bitch died, and you know,
Yeah, that would
and
have
then
been so good.
and then she's like, "And what about you? How was your day, sweetie? You know?"
And then he can do like the novella. He can talk about what happened in the novella.
I don't think he ever tells her.
Like this could have, you know. Again, we don't have to. Again, you don't have to recap it on page, but you can say, "I told him everything," and then and then the actual dialogue is them actually talking about it, and then we can actually see her doing some mental processing, and
Don't be ridiculous.
we get nothing. I don't know, like.
Don't be ridiculous, okay?
No.
Who catches up with someone after not talking to them for 2.5 months? You just bang. You just bang and you leave, okay?
Apparently.
That's called a fuck buddy.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's not
also-
a partner.
Also, series long lore is being established, and we forgot to mention it. When she first gets to the Citadel, she meets a little beggar boy, and she's like, "Have all the money." And
Oh
he's like,
yeah,
"Thank you,
we forgot
lady."
the little beggar boys.
We
They're
forgot
sweet.
Fisk. And then whenever
Fisk
she
is
goes to the
cute.
market, she sees Fisk and she starts paying him to do stuff. Like she's like, "Look, I'm not just going to give you money. You have to earn it.
Yeah.
So where can I buy stuff?" And he's like, "Here." And she's like, "Excellent. And next time you're going to get extra. I need people to carry my bags." So then little beggar kids are helping with that. And by the end of the book, you can see that like all these beggar kids are now starting to form their own little business. Run by
Yeah.
Fisk.
Just helping people.
Which will in
It's
the future
cute.
be known as the Helpers Guild.
So Valak wants to kill Cahill because he's like, I'm pretty sure I killed him, but he's a threat to the commander, so I'm gonna kill him again.
And Yelena's like, "Please don't. We're sometimes friends."
Mm.
And he's like, "Yeah, okay, I guess."
They're moving. Yeah, he's like, I guess fine. I won't kill him for you. And then she gets a note, and they're moving up the exchange.
Yep. And she tells Valak, because Valak's like, I saw someone put a note in your pocket. What does it say? And she's like, "Tomorrow night instead of full moon." And he's like, we'll do a plan. And he's like, "Okay, let's do a plan."
So then we make plans.
Then we make plans, but then the next day, like there's like sparring, like she's helping Zatora do self-defense stuff, and then Ari and Jenko rock up, and she's like, "Wow, all these strapping young men, so hot. I need to leave," and so she does. And then they do a fighty fight, and then
Cahill shows up,
and he's like, "She's a cheaty cheater. She uses magic," and Jenko's like, "Well, I don't use magic. Let's fight." And Jenko kicks his ass.
Beats his ass. Yep.
And Cahill's like, "She helped you." Ah!
Yeah.
And leaves. And then Yelena's like, "This is ridiculous. I'm gonna go have a nap." And so she goes to I can't remember what she's doing. She's walking away. And then she realizes her guards out there, and she's like, "Well, fuck." And she gets kidnapped. And for a minute she thinks it's Berta, which is what we're calling the guy doing the kidnap, torture, rapey, killy stuff.
Yeah.
But it's not.
It's
the other torture, kidnappy, rapey guy. Goal.
Because if you're going to torture and kidnap somebody, that's not bad enough.
You gotta rape him too.
If you're not rapey, there's no way to know
that you're a bad guy.
That you're a bad guy.
I think,
I hate the trope. I'm sorry. I hate it.
This is gonna. There's no nice way to say this, but at least Berta's rape served a purpose.
Yeah.
It's
like it served a purpose. It helped break them and have them, because that's what the whole thing was. It was about torturing them and breaking them and this and that until it got to the point where he owned their soul.
Mm-hmm.
I will say
it served a purpose.
That's fine. But I will say, so I was talking to Noah, my boyfriend, about this. One thing that is actually kind of, excuse my wording, nice about a lot of the rapey parts of books is that it's so like over the top and unrealistic that it's almost like not at all triggering, because the whole time you're just like, well, at least it's not accurate. Like, I'm not asking for people to, I'm like, at least if you do it, I'm like, at least if you do it, keep it in this like kind of goofy and not accurate realm of things. Because at least when it's there, it's not like, it's not triggering to read it, because you're like, well, that's not how that works, so it's fine.
Yeah, like that just reminds me of
it might be a weird take, but it's just one of those things. It's one of those things that's like almost never accurate, but it honestly, it doesn't need to be.
Well, I recently read a series. I think it's the Collector series, and the first book in it is called The Butterfly Garden. It's about an old guy who kidnaps girls, tattoos a giant butterfly on their back, and then keeps them in their garden, his garden, raping them in rotation until they turn 21. Then he kills them and puts them in resin on display so he can always look at their wings.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But like the girls in it, right? Like they're just chilling around the garden playing hide and seek. They're putting on plays for him and stuff, and I'm just like, this would not be happening.
No.
This wouldn't be happening. So it's like, even though like the whole book is like his rape harem in his greenhouse, it's like the concept is creepy and terrifying, but the
execution.
That's the word. The execution is funny.
Yeah, again,
they're doing Macbeth or something for him. They're
like
doing plays.
It makes it much less triggering when it's not actually super accurate. And so I'm like, I'm not really asking for you guys to fix this because I don't really want to read it and be like, oh, that's how that works. That's not what I want. I would rather it not be here. Like, but
yeah, like I mean,
if it's gonna be here, it being goofy is better than it being accurate.
Yeah, like I mean, like in this case, like Goal was such a all of the rapey guy stereotypes. He's got his like little torture display all laid out ready. Goal is a criminal, and he's like, I'm gonna get you, and because also he's got like a thick Scottish accent in the book.
It was kind of cheap.
You're aware.
It was kind of cheap.
Well, and another thing about a lot of these situations is that if you have a rapey villain, typically, what usually happens is either somebody else who's not the main character is actually being violated fully, and then the main character is being threatened with it, but you kind of know that before anything really bad happens, somebody's going to swoop in. She'll overpower him. The cavalry's here, whatever.
In this case, both.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, you're not. It's not like you're gonna do it.
Yo.
And I don't want you to, but you weren't going to anyway. So I don't know why we're all sitting here pretending like it might happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this one's so funny because like she's like chained upright, like she's like, manacles above the head, then manacles her feet, and she's like, "Lol, I can't believe you're so scared of me." And he's like, "I am not." And then the door opens, and Arya and Jenko are there, and they're like, "Rape and no raping," and he's like, "Ah," and she's like, "Guys, like I'm fine." And
like, I don't need your help. What? You guys can leave. And then so they just fucking leave.
And then Valak rocks up.
Oh, yeah. Well, everyone else shows up, too.
Take her to get free. Valak rocks up with disguised as advisor along. And he's like, I don't know. I think she's going to kill him. And she's like, no, I'm not going to kill him. I'm not doing that. Okay? I don't need to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
And then Cahill rocks up and Valak's like, oh, and he yeets. And Cahill's like, go, stop it. And he's like, no. And he's like, but I said stop it, and he's like, no. And Yelena's like, look, my arms are tied. Can you guys fuck off? Shut the door, relock it, do whatever you need to do. Let me handle.
And so that's what they do. They don't even try to help her. They just leave.
But
which was so like weird.
But yeah, they're right outside the door, though. But they're right outside the
Yeah, but why did they show up? They're just going to walk in and be like, okay, you've been kidnapped. Bye.
Well, I guess they trust her. I don't know. But the funny thing, though, is like when they shut the door, she's like, so where were we? And he's like, you expect me to torture and rape you while they're right outside? And she's like, you can try. But that doesn't happen.
Anyway, she incapacitates him. So
she takes over his body. Yeah, she takes over his body, frees herself, chains him up, and then goes back to her body. And then she's like, okay, bye. And leaves. And Arya and Jenko are there, and they're like, well, that took a while. And
Well,
she's
yeah,
like,
because
"Look,
we were busy tap dancing, and I don't know why.
Like, she had control of his body from like a minute after they left, and it still took her almost 10 minutes. Like, she was cutting up his arm and stuff. Like, she was being a little bit sadistic, not gonna lie.
I guess I just don't get like what the point of that was. Like,
I don't either.
why, if you're not gonna have them help, why are they here?
Well, yeah, why did they show up?
I think
why
it
did
was
we get
so,
all of our boys to show up?
I
Just
think
to
it was
dismiss
so.
them?
I think it was so Cahill could discover that Ilum is Valak, and so Ari and Jenko could warn her that he knows.
Great. Just let
we could have done that another way.
I think another thing to remember as well, and again, none of this is outlined, and I don't think she does any major plot
That doesn't
edits
mean you
once
can't
she's-
edit it.
I know. I don't know why they rocked up. I do understand why it happened though, because it gave her an excuse to discover this new power of hers, where she can take over someone else's body. That's the purpose of the kidnapping. I know. I don't know why I don't know why the boys are there. Okay, it's probably just so we could have some more Ari and Jenko on the page.
Probably. But anyways, yeah, Caitlin knows for sure it's Valak. Her mom shows up. She's in a tree. She's in a fucking tree.
And she's like, your parents rocked up and they're like, oh, fuck. And she's like, yeah, you've been kidnapped for like a day, just so you know, because she was unconscious.
And your mom's in a tree.
Parents, well, worst timing ever, right? Like, her daughter's been kidnapped for like a decade and a half. She just gets her back. And then she comes to visit her and she's kidnapped again. You'd be in a fucking tree too.
Yeah, but like still, she just goes to trees too much. It becomes a meme, and I don't like it.
Yeah, she likes it. They're her safe space, okay.
Okay, so then we get news.
She goes up and
cancel.
Yeah,
yeah. I guess she goes talks to her mom for a minute.
Yeah, gives her a fire amulet. And yeah, they bond for a minute, kind of, and
then. Cahill has told the council that Valak is here and that Goal has been discovered deaded.
Yes. So she goes to
council meeting.
Yeah, she goes to council and they're like, Did you kill him? And she's like, no, I did not. And they're like,
Okay.
I mean, they can tell she's telling the truth.
Yeah, like they can tell she's not lying.
And they're like, okay, next matter. And Cahill drags Ilum in.
The ambassador.
Yeah. Yes. And he's like, it is Valak, I swear. He goes to rip off the wig. Not a wig. He goes to rip off the nose. Not a nose. And everyone's like, excuse you. And Yelena's looking around, and Valak's one of the guards. So Ilum is actually a real person who's a guard. I'm guessing he's disguised his appearance while he's guard.
Yeah.
And then Valak was like, Cahill heard my voice. So then they swap places.
Yeah.
And everyone's just like, Cahill, you're an embarrassment.
You're an embarrassment to us all.
You're an embarrassment to nature.
Yes. But Iris is like, in Yelena's head, she's like, for real though, tell Valak to yeet. And she's like, you know that he's here. And she's like, of course he's fucking here. Do you think I'm stupid? I know, you know, he knows that I know. Okay, it's a thing. Tell him to go home.
Yeah. Then the commander disguised wants to meet with her and gives her an invitation to come visit Ixia after her training is over. And then she finds out
with the implication being
caveats.
Be a spy. Be a spy.
Yeah. Yeah. She looks at the note when she gets back, and the offer is that, like, if she proves herself loyal to Ixia, then the death executive order is gone.
Yeah.
And she can come back.
Yes. And she's like, and then she's just wandering around doing a thing. She bumps into Dax. Dax is like, haven't seen Gelsey in days. She's so busy. And she's like, oh, that sucks. He's like, what you doing? And she's like, Not much. What about you? And he's like, well, I heard all the gossip about your mom. And she's like, well, that's not something I really want to talk about.
Yeah.
I don't want my mom being the keep in the keep news cycle. And then she has tea with her parents. And then she's like,
she ends up with
Daddy.
Dad talks about the poison, and he's like, I have an antidote. And she's like, can
Thea
you make it?
Broma. Yeah, because the
like,
issue, because we discover with Curare, it doesn't just paralyze them, it stops their magical abilities too.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, that's not good. And he's like, well, Theobroma counteracts that, and you can use your magic, but obviously you have no magical defenses when you have the Theobroma. He's like, look, it's not perfect, but it's a thing. And she's like, can you make me a super special type? And he's like, sure thing. She's like, don't tell Mama. And he's like, I won't. Like, I don't want your mom to be in a tree again. It's fine.
Yeah, like, we just got your mom out of that tree. I really don't want her to climb back up there. It was a real hassle.
Yeah. So then she has a chitty chat with Kiki because Kiki wants to go with her. And she's like, trust his peppermints. Like, the horses are very simple. Like, Kiki's like, life is good. Hay is yummy. Trust his peppermints. And so they go. And Valak's like, I'll be right behind you. And she's like, excellent. So she goes to go to the meeting place.
Yep.
And she sees Opal, and Opal runs up, and she's like, Opal, you're safe. And she's like, Yelena, I'm safe. And then she stabs Yelena, and she says, I'm sorry. And then she runs away. And she stabs Yelena with Curare. And, it turns out what Esau gave her was a little
capsule. Kind of like a cyanide capsule. Yeah.
But Theobroma.
Yeah, but not cyanide.
Yeah, not deadly.
Yeah.
It's not a suicide pill.
Yeah.
And so she bites down and does a thing. And Valak doesn't rock up and save her. And she's like, any minute now. And he doesn't. So she gets kidnapped. And when she wakes up, it's not Ferda that has her. It's some random.
It's some bitch.
It's some bitch. And she's like, the fuck are you? And she's like, you killed my brother. And she's like, I don't know your brother. And she's like, my brother was Kengo.
How many men have you killed?
She's like, a few.
Enough.
How many enough? And then, this is Modkin, aka Kangom's sister, and she's cranky.
Yep, she's cranky.
And she's
even though she didn't even kill Modkin, but that's fine.
She was involved.
Yeah, whatever.
She was actively involved. Sister. Yeah, she's like, I'm a Davian, and my brother was going to do an awesome thing, but now another Davian is on an awesome power quest, and he's going to do an awesome thing. And I'm going to take your blood. And she's like, please don't. And she's like, but I will.
I'm not going to lie. This is about where I started zoning out.
Same.
Well, you would think that the story would end soon after this scene. It doesn't.
Yeah, this was when I was like, why are we introducing this and the fairy end? Like, what's happening? I was like 4 chapters left. Like,
usually after the first kidnapping, if it's not, if the first kidnapping happens towards the end of the book, we get out and then we're done. And then we go, okay, time to wrap it up. Moving on. Adios. See you next time. But no, it just kept going. And then we got kidnapped again. And I was like, what are we doing? And I looked at my phone and I was like, well, why is there more book left?
Yeah. But then Wild Kiki appears and Kiki does a Kiki and frees Yelena.
After Yelena and the woman stab each other in the gut.
Yeah, and then so she Kiki helps her get onto her back because she's a good horse, and and she's like rabbit, and she's like rabbit, and she's like Janko, and she's like oh rabbit. So they find Ari and Janko. They're lost in the plains, and they're like we don't enjoy this, and they're like and she's like where's Valak, and they're like he got it taken.
So now we have a third kidnapping, or at least that's what my brain said. My brain was like, why kidnapping number 3? Too many kidnappings.
So then they go back again, And they're like, and she's like, is Opal safe? And they're like, yes. Did Ferda have you? No. It was a vengeful bitch. So he's still got someone.
Yep.
They also know that he had been posing as a gardener.
Yes.
In the keep earlier. And then they finally make the connection that no one's seen Gelsey in a minute.
It's like, oh, I guess that he has her.
Yep, and so they're like, well, we need to work out how to do a thing. And Yelena remembers a tidbit about a weird guy and a young woman in a thing.
Yeah.
In an apartment
Oh,
area.
no, it was the, no, it's the kids. The kids find.
Yes.
The kids find that information out.
Yeah, and so then she's like, but there's magical protections. And then so she's like, I got a plan. And then Leaf rocks up and he's like, I'm going to be part of the plan. She's like, the hell you are. And he's like, the hell I'm not. And she's like, fine, you can be plan. So then via Fisk, she connects to his parents and transplants their souls half kind of temporarily into them while they walk through the barrier. So Ferda doesn't realize that they're magic. And then they carry on. And she's like, okay, Fisk, just go be a kid with the kids and make kid stuff. And he's like, excellent. So then it's time to try and rescue Gelsey because she's also talking to Gelsey. And she's like, Gelsey, you cool? And she's like, no, I'm not cool. He's torturing me. And she's like, okay, we're coming. And then she does magic and Ferda notices and she's like, oh, fuck. So then they go up. They go to do a thing. But then Ferda is like, no, Leaf, attack. And Leaf's like, okay, and makes Leaf attack Yelena.
Yes. Also at this point, the mom has figured out that she is...
Oh, that's right.
Valak. Mom also knows that Valak is apparently our love interest.
Yep. Oh, and Mom also is like, I'm not a child. You could have spoken to me. I made you something special. And we find out what it is. It's a perfume bottle with liquid curare that she can just spray in his face.
Yep.
And so fight with Leaf ensues. She manages to make Leaf pass out with her body snatchy stuff. But she's too late. He has killed Gelsey. But she rescues Gelsey's soul. Like she dives and grabs it.
Yeah.
And then beats him. Like she knocks him out. And then reanimates Gelsey's body and then puts the soul back in. Because she tried to reanimate Tula earlier as well. But without her soul, it didn't work. So she's also expelled at this point.
Yeah.
She got in trouble for sneaking off. Yeah. But yeah.
And then Valak shows up.
After
she rescues Gelsey, Valak's here.
And he's like, I'll see you later. And she's like, yeah, I'll see you later.
And then she's no longer expelled.
She's like, let's be partners. And she's like, okay, maybe. And then she's going to go and meet Valak. And Cahill rocks up. And he's like, I know you're going to meet Valak. And she's like, you're crazy. And he's like, I'm going to do a thing. And then Valak rocks up. That's right. And he's like,
yep.
Oh, really? This sounds interesting. And he's like, you know, you're not the king's nephew, right? And Cahill's like, excuse you. And they're like, bye. And then they eat.
Yep. And then they go off. We got to go take care of Mogkin's sister now.
Yes. That's right. I forgot how much stuff there is at the end. It's
this is all chapter 34 still. Chapter 34 and 35 are so fucking long.
Yeah, so then they go to the Sand Seeds
and Leaf shows up.
That's right.
Because of course he does. Because everyone just starts showing up.
Where was the editor? I'm sorry, the editor was asleep on the job, dude.
Yeah, and Brazolka, Leaf's horse, is also a Sand Seed horse, and he's like, what the fuck was that? Because Brazolka did a fast run. And then they're like,
Moon Man shows up.
Moon Man shows up. He's like, we're going to attack the Warpers. And they're like, okay. So they do. And there's more of them than they thought. And so outnumbered. And then Yelena almost kills sister, but doesn't. And she's like.
And so Valak does.
Yeah. And he's like, look.
The same way he killed Mogkin.
Yeah, he's like, look, sweetie, like, don't be a dum-dum. We had to kill her.
Yeah.
And then the Sand Seeds are like, look, we need to get more warriors, so we're going to do a thing. And they're like, okay. And her and Valak go to catch up with the ambassador, who is the commander.
Yeah.
And so they do that. And then the next day, then she runs into Cahill again.
She also doesn't know what where she's going after this. She doesn't know if she's staying because she wants to go back to Ixia.
Yeah, she's at a crossroads. And Cahill rocks up again. Like, honestly, this guy's just fucking everywhere. He rocks up again and he's like,
it.
And he's like, I'm going to be awesome. And she's like, okay, you go be awesome then, bye. And then she goes and meets with the ambassador. And she's like, look, can I just talk to the commander, please? This would just be so much easier. And so he comes the commander and she's like, let's be liaison. And he's like, sounds good.
Yeah, it's like you gotta graduate, and then I'll be then you can be the magical liaison between our countries. So she's gonna stay in the Citadel so she can finish her work, her school, and then the guy, what's his name? The bad guy, Fisk, whatever, not Fisk, that's Kid.
Ferda. She gets back to the Citadel. Ferda's gone. Marek's been beaten to a pulp. And Cahill is missing, and they think Cahill rescued Ferda, which he did. He did.
And that's it. We're staying.
Yeah, and her and Iris, she's gonna move into Iris's tower, and they're gonna like treat her education more like a partnership as opposed to a teacher student.
And she's gonna teach her how to be a soul finder.
Yeah.
And that's the book.
Yeah,
I think that's it all.
So much happened at the end. Even after finishing listening to it today, I forgot how much stuff happened at the end.
Yeah, it's a lot.
There's like a triple kidnapping, 3 or 4 battles or fights, and
a random villain thrown in.
Cahill rocks up like 30 times just to be like, I'm going to be awesome.
So does Leaf. Leaf just kind of shows up a lot too, and I'm like,
that's right. Away? Before they battle with the Sand Seed, alongside the Sand Seeds against the Davians, Moonman's like, hey, can you two? He's like, I need to story with you two before we do a thing, and they're like, fine, I guess. So they see Yelena's kidnapping from Leaf's perspective. And at first he was just like being like smuggled brother.
Yeah.
And then he was scared, and then it was a thing. And he also showed that if Leaf had tried to save her, he would have been killed.
He would have been killed. And also if he had told his parents, then bad shit would have happened. So
but it helped us and Yelena, I guess, see where he was coming from. He loved her.
He did the right thing. He's a good. I guess we can keep him.
Like out of guilt, he tried to kill himself.
Yes.
And he never stopped looking for her until the day she came home. Yeah. All that stuff. So starting from next book, they start to have a better
which really makes it the most complex relationship in the series, honestly, so far.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
And that's a good thing, you want that. So
we need complex relationships.
Well, you know what? When we get to Glass, remember you wanted a complex relationship.
Oh no.
Oh good.
Just remember that.
Okay. So we're gonna do House of Night adjacent. House of Night adjacent on Monday. And then we'll probably resume the series that we were doing with Noah after that, and then get back to this. That's probably the order in which we will be conducting ourselves.
Yep.
So, So, with that, we will see you guys then. I'm so excited. Bye guys.